Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. The focus in this video is going to be some changes to the plumbing in this house. So this black line is the main water line coming into the house from the well. This is the pressure tank, this is the pressure switch, and this is the gauge. So a pressure tank is just there to where your well pump isn't running constantly when you're running water in your house. This applies pressure to the water in the lines, and if you stand down here, once this gauge drops to a certain pressure, you'll hear the well pump turn on. So past that, I've got a valve on the back side. That's the main valve for the house, main shutoff. And then this half-inch line runs up and supplies the whole house. This should be at least 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 would be standard. And then from that, you can have half-inch lines branching off to sinks and different parts, different aspects of the plumbing. Things like the hot water tank, you need a 3/4 inch line going to that because you'll have a bunch of different things going off of the hot water. So codes and standards are going to vary depending on where you're at, but that's the basics. The water has a little bit of dirt in it. I did some work on the well because there was sediment in the water. I did a bacteria test, all that. The well seal that's on top of the casing is the lining that on the hole drilled for the well itself. It's a 6-inch well. Replace the seal, sanitize the well, but there's sediment in the water. That may be temporary, but since it's going to be ready really soon, I'm just going to install this whole house sediment filter. That'll be installed probably here on the wall, 3/4 inch lines running up to it, and then I'll hook into the existing plumbing. I'm not going to film this video in as much detail as I have in the past. I need to kind of breeze through these projects and not get too hung up filming. That means I'll probably kind of update you along the way in these projects, show you a little bit of detail, but mainly kind of show you the results of it in the end. The last thing to talk about before I get started is I'll also be making some changes over here. This is the bathroom. We'll peek in there first. This is the water line that runs into the bathroom. That's the cold water line. And supposedly, it's leaking underneath the slab. This bathroom is raised for the plumbing. So I need to come through this wall with some PEX, and then I'll do some surface plumbing over to the different fixtures. And that's pretty much it. This is sort of like the little locker room bathroom. So I'm just going to get this all back up and running with some surface plumbing. And then around the corner, this is where the washer and dryer are going to go. So right where that Drano thing is, that's where the washing machine would just kind of be over into that. I'm going to add a trap to that, and I'm going to replace these. This is where the washing machine plugs in, and then I need to go out the side of the wall with a dryer vent. For materials, I'm using PEX, which is this plastic plumbing pipe, the flexible type, versus PVC, copper, iron pipe, just what I'm going with. So these are all of the connections, the different elbows and couplings that I already have, but I went to Lowe's and I bought a pile more. And so this is where you spend a lot of money in PEX. The pipe itself isn't that bad. This is 20 feet of it in 3/4. That was $12. I think it's $6.98 for ½ inch for 20 feet. And it's in red and blue, keeps it nice and organized for you. So this is way more connections than I needed, but I just buy all kinds of stuff. I buy random pieces, and then I either just keep it all for the future or I return it after I use what I use and then return what I don't. So that's what I'm starting out with. finished getting the filter installed. Give you a quick look at that. So I switched from this valve to this one. What it was is a mobile home was on this property, so the well was supplying water to two houses, two residents I mean. So switched to that one because it was on the outside. It was aligned with this joist, mounted the filter to the side of that joist with the bracket that comes with it. Line comes up, goes through it. Nice thing about this filter is it has a bypass valve. So I bypassed the water out of it first. That was all that nasty metal, rust. That was probably all this had kind of rusted out a little bit. I maybe should replace that, I'm not sure. It'll probably be fine once the house is being used on a regular basis. Water comes out into a 3/4 inch line, goes into a 3/4 inch T, stubs out either way, and then I just reduced it down to 1/2 inch. And then in the future, I may switch out this main run that goes down through the house. So all for that is the hot water, the bathroom, the washer, and then a spigot on that side of the house, as well as this outdoor spigot. So if everything's being run at once, reduced down to 1/2 inch, that really could slow things down. So with this whole house filter installed now, I've switched it to filtering. I'm going to go outside and run some water into a bucket and see what color that water is. We are outside. We got the water running. And I've already gone ahead and done it. Filled the bucket up. And the water is looking great. Before it just had that little slight yellow tinge, like there was a little bit of mud in the water. And that could have been just from the problem that existed. Or it could be just the way it is with this well, just that it's not crystal clear. Although everyone in this area's wells are pretty crystal clear that I know of. So things are looking pretty good here. I am going to call this a success and have my bacteria test done to the house. And hopefully it passes. If not, I will treat the well again and give it another test. Over here is where the washer and dryer will be. So the plumbing for the washer, this one coming down here, that's a hot water line. And then the cold water line came through the wall, and that was coming from the one going through the wall right here for this valve. So up here in the ceiling, I am going to cut it up here in the ceiling where it is and couple onto it, go into PEX, and then bring that around the corner and come down the wall and mount the two valves where those valves are. So I gotta get these cut out of the way and run the new lines. I added in the stuff for a washer over here, changed this around to where the wastewater out of the washing machine can drain into the waste lines. And originally the water line came down through here and into the bathroom, but underneath the floor. So I changed all that up because it was leaking. So from here over, it is new PEX. All the rest with this was existing PEX that ties into the copper lines in the house. And the change was I dropped the plumbing in through the ceiling because I didn't want to drill holes through anything. Because in the future I may end up living here myself and I may want to change things up, so I wanted to do it everything in the least impactful way as possible. So I just did all the plumbing on the surface. It comes in. I drop these lines down here. One runs over to supply the toilet. The other two, what splits off goes to the cold, and then the other one is warm, hot water. So the other two come across and down into the shower. So this is my favorite shower. This would be my bathroom if I lived here. My father-in-law has a garage, a bathroom in his garage, and this is a detached garage, and it's the same kind of thing. It's the man bathroom, and I love this thing. It's just like a locker room or something. I wouldn't dare take a shower upstairs.